And it's all possible. A lot of people think you have to be in the industry or, have a cool job or whatever to get VIP in clubs and, get free drinks or VIP tables and all that. But it's all about being in your own reality, assuming the sale, and treating people right.
Yeah, when you go into a club and you're not there to just show up and stand in line and pay cover and not know anybody there, but when you're there and you're friends with the owner or friends with the manager, right, or head of security, you're standing over by the bar, you're up in the VIP, they're bringing you drinks, all kinds of things are happening where it's a totally different experience from everyone else. And it's very possible to do this. And it's, I think, a lot more fun.
Oh, yeah. When you know the promoter, you can go up to him and ask him for a wristband to get in the VIP room, or when you know the manager. And managers are just as easy to talk to as everyone else in the bar, sometimes they'll have to leave and handle some business, but, just go up and ask him how his night's going, if this busy or not, is this the best night to come here? Next time you see him, remember his name, say hi. That's it. That's all you got to do. Remember names. I actually keep track of them in my phone. I have a listing of every club I go to and names of bartenders and waitresses and managers and everything, because the name is so powerful. And even if, they forget yours, and they always will because they meet so many people, if you remember theirs, they feel bad for not remembering your name, and you're going to get that many extra perks. Cool. Now, let's talk about some, things that I recommend doing when you're first starting out, just get off the ground and really start finding out how to meet women in bars and nightclubs the right way. First of all, you want to find out which clubs and bars are hot in your area. That's big. If you're at the clubs with the best reputations, they're probably going to be the hottest women there, and probably the best networking opportunities as well. So find out where they are. And yes, your first time out, you're going to have to get there at 9 o'clock so you can wait in that line before it gets huge, and you're going to have to pay your way in. You probably have to do that 3 or 4 times, But remember to make your connections, remember some names, and follow the rules. Another huge thing, watch the guys that are with the hot women. Pay attention to how they carry themselves, and especially what they're wearing. An interesting discovery I had a few years ago. I used to go out to some clubs, and I'd try to be like the nicest dressed guy in the club. I thought it would give me an advantage, I'd look distinctive and stand out to women. So, if it was like a beach bar, I'd be wearing like my collared shirt, and maybe even some nice shoes, something like that, And I look around, though, and I noticed that the guys who were with the hottest women, they weren't necessarily dressed the nicest, but they were in style. They did have good fashion sense, And I wouldn't say they were dressed the nicest, but I would say they're dressed the best, usually. Like maybe they had on the coolest brand, and, as cheesy as it sounds, girls look at that stuff. It really does. If you guys go out and buy a $150 pair of jeans, you will notice big differences from women, sad but true. I did it, and it works,
I've got a good hint for you about $150 pairs of jeans. You can't believe I'm going to tell them, can you? eBay. eBay.
See, no one's laughing or making any noise right now because you guys don't get it. Seriously, go buy a pair of $150 jeans and watch what happens. Buy them on eBay.
For $50.
That's why I care about giving out this secret, because it is a big deal. It's weird. Same with shoes, I don't know why, but it's true. And make sure you wear them to the right place. Go to the clubs you want to go to. Don't pay attention to anybody but guys who are with hot women. That's how you need to learn how to dress for the right environments. Now, if I go to a beach bar, I'm wearing sandals and a T-shirt, If I go to an uptown club, I'm wearing, like a nice collared shirt or whatever, And it's also a good idea to have some kind of accessories that women can comment on, like rings or things like that. There's a lot of little cool, like trendy districts in most big towns. I know in Hollywood there's Melrose. I'm sure there's one out here where you can go buy like a cool bracelet or something like that. You don't have to go over the top, just something that gives women a reason to come up to you. Remember, women are shy, in general, and a lot of times if they have a reason to come up, you're much more likely to get approached.
Ben, you got any of your freaky vests or anything on you? Do you? Yeah? Will you bring it down here like after the next break or something and just... You got to see some of the things that this guy has.
Yeah. Another thing I do, is get interesting drink. There's a drink called a Tokyo tea. It's a Long Island iced tea, but it's made with Midori, so it's green. And you don't see too many guys drinking green drinks, And a lot of girls will come up and ask me what it is. And then I even invented my own drink at a bar in San Diego. I call it the Craig iced tea. And
Very original name.
Yeah, it's huge in Miami, NYC, everywhere you go. Craig Iced Tea. Ask for it by name. But anyways, then when girls come up and ask you what you're drinking, it's a Craig Iced Tea. Go order one. Go to that bartender. He knows exactly how to make it. You know. And then you're doing a few things there. One, you know, it's a good conversation topic. Two, you have an original drink. And three, you're sending girls over to the bartender, and they're mentioning your name, and, you know, he's going to recognize you for that, you know. So make up a drink for yourselves. It's always a nice egotistical thing to do. And a lot of good results.
Insecure, egotistical.
Yeah, and I love it.
Yeah.
All right, greet doorman. Find one bartender at each club. Like I was saying, this is crucial. You have to do it. Find a spot in each club where you like to hang out. Check out the traffic areas, you know. You don't want to post up right in front of the women's bathroom, you know, but maybe 20 feet from it, you know, where they all have to go through aisle. Seriously, you know.
And if there's a woman hanging out when you come out of the men's room, immediately stop and go, you women are all the same. Hanging out by the men's room, hoping to pick up some guys, huh?
Yeah.
It's a good one.
That's right. While we're on the topic, that's one of my favorite lines. You can pick actually a spot anywhere in the club if the girls hang out and be like, do you know the people that work here call this the playa spot? Because all the girls who are like here to like, you know, be playa pimps hang out in this spot so they can check out all the guys. Doesn't matter where they're standing. You can use that anywhere, you know. It's a great one. Talk to and befriend as many people as you possibly can. You never know who you're going to meet. And I tell you, you have a lot more fun when you're just going out and like making friends, talking to people instead of, you know, talking about picking up chicks, dude. You know, I mean, you'll have a much better time, and you'll project that vibe and energy, and you'll set that presence that women can't help but notice. Test out things you normally wouldn't do. Make it your point to see how far you can go without getting rejected. When I find things that are like real breakthroughs that I end up using all the time, you know, stuff that just becomes, you know, every night parts of my game, it's usually when I'm testing the limits. Like that opener I told you guys about where I bump the girl and say, watch it, punk. You know, I mean, that was kind of risky, you know. And another one I've recently started doing is I'll be walking by a girl, and she'll be walking this way. And she's walking by, I'll push her like this, and I'll give her like an evil look. And then when she stares back at me, she'll give me an evil look too, but then I'll smile, you know. And it's unconventional, you know, but it works. And when you do things like that, you're going to get rejected a lot. That's a good thing, because every time you get rejected, you learn something, you know, and you learn where the boundaries are. And when you realize all these boundaries of, you know, social interaction and what works and what doesn't, and you know just how to cross the line, that's when you're going to start seeing really amazing results and being able to approach women on a consistent basis, because you're just that much different from everybody else in the right way, you know. Keep a journal. Write down what's working for you, what isn't. Take notes. One of the things that was valuable to me was writing down a bunch of common situations that would happen to me every night I was out. And, you know, thinking about, okay, girls are coming up to me and saying this all the time, or I'm always hearing this, you know, so what would be some good responses? And I just wrote them down, you know. Like, for instance, I smoke when I go out to the bars, and I noticed that girls will always come up and ask me for a cigarette. I'm like, shoot, if I give her a cigarette, am I a wuss, you know? Like, so I went through my phase of girls, I'll be like, no, buy your own, you know, and then girls will just think I was an asshole, you know. But now when a girl comes up and asks me for a cigarette, you know, can I have a cigarette? I'll be like, yeah, sure, but you have to make an animal noise first. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, just make an animal noise, you know. And, you know, they'll meow or whatever. I'll be like, no, like you mean it, you know. Like, at least 3 people have to hear it and look at you when you make noise. No, I'm just kidding. But say it loud so I can hear it, you know. And then they'll oink, and I'll say, okay, that noise says a lot about you, but here's your cigarette, you know. No, but make them earn it. I guarantee she's going to sit there and smoke that whole entire cigarette with you and probably go tell her friends about the ordeal that she was just put through. And her friends will be laughing at her, and it's just a great thing. Yeah, and you can even do that, like if you're talking to a girl, a lot of times a guy will interrupt you to ask you for a cigarette because he'll be kind of trying to sneak in on your girl, you know? Ask the guy to make an animal noise when he does that, and watch him run away with his tail between his legs. It's pretty funny. And most importantly, have fun when you go out. That's what it's all about. It's not about going out to pick up chicks. It's not about going out to get laid. It's about going out to have the best time possible, you know, meeting people, hanging out with your friends, you know, and, you know, just relaxing and making the best of your night. That's how you're going to find your real success, you know, is when you're going out to have fun and just being yourself, you know, It's 10 times more powerful than going out with that hunting mentality and trying to pick up chicks and get phone numbers and, putting all that pressure on yourself. Seriously, that's number one. Go out with yourself and your own needs in mind and have a great time doing it.
Fantastic. Give him a big round of applause. We talked a little bit ago about props and things that get women to naturally start conversations with you. And where's Ben? You over here? You want to run up here real quick? This is my friend Ben. Give him a round of applause. You've seen him and heard him before many times. Do you remember when I said, "You got that vest of yours?" And he's like, "I got it upstairs." This right here is a very unique piece of clothing, as you can see. You know what? We need a mic for this gentleman. You got a mic over there? Here we go. How many tennis balls did you kill? That's interesting.
Not enough.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about this and why you wear such fruity things and whatever. If you're going to stand up here, I've got to take this name tag off. You just can't stand it.
All right.
You can take that later.
I tell you, I like to go to places where people, dress freaky or whatever it is. People wear costumes or people dress up. Halloween's my favorite holiday, and it takes me about 6 months to get over it. And I like to be the one that's, definitely the most stylish at whatever place it is where people are dressed freaky. So that means being freakier than everybody else. And this is kind of like this is kind of like get you in the door, and then I'll go from there.
What the hell is this thing made out of?
It's a faux fur.
No, it's the exterior. It's like
It's a little dusty. It is reversible. I'll show you. This is the low key version. This is
a subdued version of the look right here.
now this is medium. Yeah. Extra hot is with big black lights because this thing you can see it from miles away under the black lights. Just imagine this thing glows.
I'm speechless. Okay, so what happens when you're wearing this thing out?
Well, people approach you. They want to touch it. Guys want to touch it, which kind of freaks me out, But it's people will say just weird shit to you, and it's funny. Anytime that you have a new prop, something that's new, you're going to find that people tend to give you a few different responses, and you're going to very quickly come up with good, comebacks or things to say on top of that. And that's like a fun thing for me. That's one of the things that gives me energy going out is to have a new prop, to try out something new. And, just see how people respond to it and then come up with fun things to say back to it. And I get a little bored. I mean, if it's something that I've been wearing for a long time or, that I've had for a long time, it's not as much fun as something that I got that's brand new and I'm going to get a whole new set of responses to it.
Talk about 4 or 5 of your favorite things that you've had over the years that you've gone out to clubs that just start conversations without you having to do anything.
Okay. There's some really good light toys that are great. There's this pendant called a Fuse, F-U-Z-E, that glows and it changes colors. You can get them off of eBay. And it's actually rose quartz, so that one's really solid. I got from some of these, from Tyler and some of these other guys, Papa will wear these New Rock shoes or boots. Those just rock. They're, like they look like you're Gene Simmons or something, It's really over the top. I like having things that are tactile. I like PVC. Even though depending on where you go with PVC, you're going to get a wide variety of different responses. If you go to the goth club, it's just it's sort of like getting you in the door. But if you wear it, somewhere that's you're not expected to be wearing it, you have to expect to get people kind of coming at you about it. And if they do, the way that you respond to that says a lot about like how comfortable you are with what you're wearing. PVC is like vinyl. It's that shiny stuff. Some people call it pleather, but it's really vinyl PVC.
What about those fruity hats you have?
Fruity hats. I almost brought. Okay, I've got a hat that it was just too much. I just couldn't bring it.
That's impossible for you.
You get them at costume stores. They're these big Mad Hatter pimp hats. And I got this stuff called EL wire. It's this like wire that
called
lights
who?
up. EL, electroluminescent wire. It's kind of like the stuff that you'll see like underneath cars that make it glow underneath. But you can have sequencers and it'll flash different patterns and everything.
And you put it on your hat?
And I made a 5-channel sequencer and I wrapped it around my hat.
Wait. I made a 5-channel sequencer
well,
and I
you
put it
wire
on
the
my
stuff
hat.
together. And then I got 2 of these bright green lasers. You remember last time I had that? It was bright-ass green lasers. These things, again, you can see them for... I've been told you can see them from hundreds of miles if the air is clear enough. But on a foggy day, you can see the beam and shine it all the way up into the air, and they're crazy. And I put 2 of them on either side of the hat, and you go around, and you get these 2 lines going. And again, you can see them just forever. And when you move your head, the beams will just go, and it looks like you're driving down the road when I'm coming towards you, because you've got these 2 lines converging together. Anyway, and then the tarot cards. I love having things that are gimmicky or whatever, but that have something that's totally unique.
Get the little plug in for your website.
All right, it's modernmagics.com. You might have heard of me talking about it on other sites. I've actually finished the deck now, so I'm just writing the book, which is kind of a challenge because I need the book to not only appeal to guys who are new to it, but to people who are really into it. I want to be able to have them get a lot out of it. So that's really where I'm at with it. But it's a fantastic way to just visually grab somebody. There's something about having something that has that much impact that's going to make sure that you're going to have a conversation with them.
What do you do when a girl walks up and starts like touching your jacket?
Well, I love saying easy on the threads. I mean, I love the stuff that I got from you, that I got from Craig, that I got from these guys. But then you kind of say, well, maybe I'll let you touch it, and then you can kind of like sidle up to them and rub up against them a little bit, so
nice.
you can get it going. But I like to kind of get off at the topic as quickly as possible. Whatever the the gimmick is, the piece of clothing, you don't want it to define you. You don't want to be the guy with the vest. So you want to, or the guy with the tarot cards even. So you need to very quickly go into other areas, and then you can kind of come back to it and talk about why you wear it or something about it, that's interesting, a story about that particular, piece of clothing. But you need to very quickly go to something else, and then you can kind of come back around to it.
Our mutual friend Rick, who knows a lot of the people in this room, he's famous in my mind for going out and buying these crazy shirts that are like really have all these textures and things in them. And I've just watched
total pimp shirts.
Exactly.
They're so great. The first time, that same weekend when we went to the Richard Bandler thing, I think the first weekend he came and stayed at my house. He had, all of his luggage was basically these shirts. I had to like clear out a whole closet for him for all of these crazy shirts. And then when I've gone out with him, he'll let me wear them. And they're like, some of the shirts like look like they're really expensive, and they're not.
Sure.
And some of them are really expensive shirts.
But they look like they're not.
But they look like they're not, exactly.
Right.
But it'll let me wear them out, and the response you get when you're wearing just a really awesome piece of clothing, then how you feel about yourself, right? That you feel really confident. You can go out and kick ass.
That's great. Thank you very much. Thanks
bet.
for coming
Thank
up and
you.
sharing. Give him a little hand there. All right, good. Oh, I stole this from you. Let's see if we can get it over to you. Oh, that's not too bad.
You'll be a ninja someday.
Ninja name tag throwing. All right, so questions. Let's do a little bit of question and answer here. You have any burning questions, things you've had to kind of hold in during the program? Stand up, please. Take a mic. It will come to you.
Is this on?
Yes.
Okay. I like how you talk about take the girl to your house. Okay, establish your territory. But for me personally, I travel a lot, so a lot of times I'm not my house is not available.
Sure.
So like I like to know how to work that to my advantage. For example, like how to casually bring her to the hotel. Like
How to casually bring her to the hotel.
Right.
We're going to go over to my house. Not exactly a house.
I live there. Yeah.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I live in the hotel pretty much.
That's cool. You should say, come back to my pad. I got a cooler pad than you, I'll bet. What I hear you asking is when, I always listen for those little words.
Okay.
How do I casually bring her back to the hotel?
Yeah.
Sounds like it sounds like the problem isn't that you're not going back to your house. It doesn't sound like if you were, at a bar or hanging out with a girl and your house was close, you'd be, oh, well, since we're going to my house, I don't have anything to worry about. Am I right on this? Or
Yeah.
It sounds more like an issue of you want to kind of sneak it in there. This kind of sounds to me kind of like when guys say, how do I walk up and start a conversation with a girl without her thinking that I'm picking up on her? Like, How do I?
I wanted to make it natural, make it flow, like make it use I think you said it in one of your interview series or something like that. Women like to feel like everything just happened naturally.
Exactly. Very good.
Yeah.
Smooth, right? So can I phrase that? How do I smoothly
Yeah.
transition from what I'm doing to having her come over to my house
Yeah.
or hotel or whatever I might happen to be in?
Right.
Is that good? Who wants to know the answer to that one? Is that a good one? Yeah. One of the keys here, I really believe, is trust. A woman has to trust you if she's going to come home with you. And a way to get a woman to trust you is for her to feel like you're a normal, regular person and that you're not going to do anything weird if she's alone with you. All right? And the best way to do that, I think, is to be kicked back, casual, and fun all the time. We were talking earlier about how quickly you kiss a woman or get intimate with her, that kind of thing. Let me throw this scenario at you. Let's say that you meet a woman in a club and things are going pretty well, and then within 10 or 15 minutes you start kissing her. And then you're kissing, and then you're kind of not kissing, and her friends are there, and then you're kissing, and now it's getting to be time to go. She's already kind of made this step. She knows that the only place that she's going to go with you if you go home is you're going to bed. Now, if you're getting that vibe and it's on, and it doesn't really matter, that's fine. But let's give kind of a comparison scenario here. What if you meet a woman at a bar or a club, and you hit it off, and everything's going good, and you're having fun, and you're walking away from her once in a while, and she's coming and chasing you, and then you're walking over and going, hey, what's going on? And then you say, hey, let's go over to this other place, and maybe you and your friends and her friends go over there, and now the two of you are kind of together there, and maybe you're hanging out, but nothing really happens, but the vibe is really on, and you're having a good time, and then, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, and it's wrapping up, and you say, all right, come on, we're going to go hang out. And she's having fun, Then let's say fast forward later into the evening a couple of hours, and you're back at your place or something like that, and you're laying on the couch next to her, and you got your arm out, and she's laying on. You guys have been having a good time and having fun. What's most likely to really lead to what you want to have the outcome be? Like, what do you really want out of the situation? Do you, are you looking to have her turn into, say again?
I'm looking to get laid.
Oh, he wants to get laid. Okay. Well, thanks for being subtle about it. Or casual, as you would say. Casually getting laid. Right. Yeah, don't show her your Woody. That's slick. It's casual. Think for a minute. Think about all the different scenarios. I mean, I really want you to use your mind and think through the different, what's the likelihood of the outcome going to be? My experience is that a woman is much more likely to sleep with a man if she feels comfortable with the guy at some level. There's got to be a level of comfort. So what can you do to create a level of comfort? You might have heard me suggest in the past, doing things to communicate that you're normal or even too normal, right? So some of these things like playing with her and calling her a dork and being a regular guy and, just being a normal person once in a while can really help. It can really go a long way, all right? You can keep up the ball busting and you can keep doing this stuff. You can be really intense about it, but once in a while you got to throw in those little bits of I'm a normal person, and they communicate so powerfully when you do it, right? At the end, when you are ready to go home, those little bits of I'm a regular person, those times when you've communicated on that level, maybe 5 of them throughout the evening, you switch back into that mode and you're like, all right, come on, let's go hang out. And she just goes, oh, okay, cool, everything's cool. You're normal, you're a regular person, you're capable of being a normal, regular dude. Any other questions? Stand up, microphone, please.
Hi, David. I just had a quick question about the, just all the program stuff, your book and the DVDs and everything and these seminars. And I'm just wondering,
Sure.
With all this, information, what's the best way for somebody who's just getting started to begin to assimilate and, start practicing a lot of these techniques so it really becomes a part of you versus,
Sure.
acting?
Well, this is an interesting question because this program, like how to meet women in bars and clubs, like picking up women kind of stuff, this is my least favorite stuff personally, right? I mean, I obviously have a lot of fun doing it, but my favorite stuff is the inner stuff, getting all of your psychology all dealt with, getting your issues handled. If you want to just go out and have success quickly with women, okay, meet a couple of guys who are really good with women, like maybe these guys who you're going to meet here that are with real social dynamics that are going to, Tyler's going to come up and talk in a little bit, and just have them take you out and go through like boot camp, boom, and you'll learn the skills and it'll help kind of change things. But just having the success on the surface won't change the underlying stuff. Does that make sense? So if you want quick, get some guy friends that are really good with women and go out and watch them and learn from them and learn what to do. If you want lasting kind of personal satisfaction in your life and you would like to lead to having good relationships or a good relationship with a woman, you really have to go to work on some of the inner stuff first and learn them together, learn them in concert with each other. Okay? I don't think that it's not very appealing to say, well, you know what, go do 6 years of psychotherapy, and when you're done with that, then we'll teach you some pickup lines. Okay? That doesn't sound really fun. So do them together, do them in concert with each other. If you're just getting started, I mean, congratulations. I'm excited for you. I'm glad you're here and around a bunch of smart people that, kind of know what they're doing and that are, I would say, kind of ethically sound, coming from the right place morally. But, you got to work on the inside and the outside at the same time. Stand up.
Let's see. I actually had two quick ones, but one is.
Do you hear that? I had two quick ones. You always slide it in, like right at the beginning.
I have two quick.
All right, go ahead.
One is just the feasibility of all this stuff in bars, in clubs. As an older man looking to meet younger women, and just kind of a feel for what the what's the likelihood that I'm not going to walk into that situation and be this kind of guy and not be perceived like you're always saying, and you guys are always saying, first you need eye contact, you need positive response before you move to the next step. But am I in any way likely to get a positive response with just?
Can we throw that microphone away, please?
Here it is again.
All right.
On those kind of contacts alone. And the second part, which is kind of dovetailing, is I'm a magician. I do magic. I know how to do magic. I'm not sure how to fit it into what I do, and if that may be because inadvertently, if I'm doing like walk around magic in a restaurant, I can make myself very comfortable with lots of different kinds of people. But does that belong in this setting?
Good question. Magic is, frankly, magical when meeting women. I mean, really, it's great. If you watched I think in my advanced series, I show a little magic trick with a $50. Is that right? I show it in there? No? Yeah? Good. I'm glad that my mind isn't going bad. But the thing where you just like hide a $50 and then you make it reappear. When probably, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4, 5 years ago, something like that. I remember hearing somebody was doing well with magic, and so I went and bought some coin magic books. I went and got some $50, and I would just sit. I could sit at a table, and you see some girls or something, and just hold up the $50, and they kind of go, "What's going on?" And then you just make it disappear, and it's interesting. It's charming, And then you can walk over and start the conversation, give it to them, and let them hold it, and banish it and make it reappear. Not that I'm any kind of a magician, but when you mix that with this stuff, and with cocky comedy and with some of the other things, it's incredible. It's amazing. I know some guys that are, great illusionists. Actually, the gentleman you saw just standing here, Ben, is like, really great, fantastic, high-class illusionist. And he has a whole bunch of different things that he does. You might want to grab him and talk to him, actually. As far as the older guy question, you're lucky. You're male. Being male is, and getting older is pretty fantastic. I know a lot of guys, I mean older guys even in their 50s and 60s that date women of any age they want. I'm 33 right now, I'm about to turn 34. And I remember when I turned 30, I thought, wow, okay, well, that's kind of going to rule out this whole class of women, like the 18 to 25-year-old kind of thing. And I thought, all right, well, I got to deal with it. I'm, mature now. I'm much more intriguing now to one of those younger women than I was when I was 23. Who knew? So I don't think you have anything to worry about there. That is all up here. I really believe that. I really believe it's all up here. Because I have enough older friends that are in their 40s, 50s, and like I said, even 60s. And hey, look at Hugh Hefner, right? I realize he has a slight advantage, but it's still happening, It's still really going on. Whoa. We heard the Hugh Hefner thing. You've already had a question. You can't ask another one. Yeah, of course you do. All right. Stand up over here, please. Take the mic. Oh, you know what? You first. Then you.
What about taking women out on a first date? I don't want to pay for them. I just want to get to know them. It's the truth. Why should I pay for them? They're getting to know me. I'm getting to know them.
We're getting...
What's your take on that?
Getting a lot of honesty in this program. It's good. We're getting in touch with
And
who we really are.
That's what we're here for.
I just want to get laid casually. I want to take her out on a date, but I don't want to pay for it. You guys need to get together and write a book or something. Well, dating is an interesting concept. I use the term in my brand, Double Your Dating, because it's the word that we all identify with, right? In Western culture today, that's the word that we all know it as. But I don't really think that dates are that necessary. In fact, I and several friends of mine who kind of are all on the same page really think that dates can be very counterproductive. I mean, really, they can actually be counterproductive, if you can imagine that. And why is a date counterproductive? What? Manipulation. You get her into that mindset, the mating game, right? As soon as you go date, what happens? She goes, oh, I know my role. I know what I'm supposed to be doing here. He's going to buy me dinner. Then I'm going to have to feel obligated to sleep with him, but I know that he's going to be a nice guy and not make me, and I know that if I, it's like, does all this stuff, right? Have you read The Rules? That book, The Rules? Make sure and read that book at some point in your life, The Rules, by those two women that both, I think, got divorced or something. I love how these relationship experts get divorced repeatedly. It's one of my favorite things. Of course, their argument is probably, well, you learn from your mistakes, so I know even better now, right? Well, dating can be very counterproductive. It can be productive too, of course. I have several friends that are very successful in the dating world. As a matter of fact, when I talked about the I forgot what I even called it now, the mini date, where you meet a girl at a bar and you walk out the door and you go to the next bar and now you're together. That guy actually takes women out on a lot of dates. I have another friend who is just insanely successful. You might remember the interview I did with Robert. He's just very successful with women, and he takes women out on dates, likes to take them out to really nice places. But the distinction is that he communicates very clearly that it was something that he wanted to do. He was going to go do it anyway, and she gets to come along if she'd like, to keep you company. Okay? There's a way to always frame it so that you're on your path, you're doing your thing, and she can kind of come join you. Anytime it switches over to doing anything that she can perceive in any way as you trying to impress her, right, or do something so that she feels obligated to you, or get into that dating framework, or those social grooves where you put your track car in there and now it's going this direction. You want to avoid that stuff. That helpful? You're not giving me that strong nod of you. I answered your question.
I'm not sure if you answered my question.
I'm not sure if I did either. Stand back up and take the mic.
So I often feel obligated to go on a dinner date. And I just want to get to know him to find out if I even want to go on a second date with him. I mean, I could say, let's go here, let's meet for a cup of coffee, but that's not me taking on the masculine role and leading them in a certain direction and things like that.
Okay, now we're getting down to it. You want to get to know them to find out whether you even want to spend time with them, and you feel obligated to take them on a date.
Especially if they're good looking, the competition's taking them out and I'm not.
Good,
So
okay.
Where do I stand?
This is good. So this does require therapy right here, okay? Because this is all about you. Really, it's all about you. You feel obligated because it's what other people are doing. Truly, this is your thing. It doesn't have anything to do with the women. And I'll tell you, if you take one of these attractive women and you do something totally different, like you say to her, you know what, I was just thinking, I know something about you. And she'll say, well, what's that? You say, I just have a really strong, just have a knowing about you. A lot of guys ask you out on dates, and guys probably take you to really nice places, and I'll bet you've experienced a lot of that kind of thing, probably even really wealthy, successful guys trying to impress you by taking you to nice places, and she'll go, yeah, that's true. And you'll go, I have to be different. I have to switch this up, so you're cooking me dinner. Try that. And if she says, a lot of times a woman like that will go, oh, okay, I will. I'll cook you dinner, sure. And they'll meet that challenge, and they'll have fun. And then you go to her place, her dirty dishes. If you don't enjoy it, bail. Is that better? Try that one. Don't feel obligated. That's really your stuff. It's not anything about her. All right? He's not stopping. We know
that's
we're going
not
to do
something I'm gonna
Hang on
do.
a sec. Stand up. I got to sit down. We got to do a little therapy here. Okay. Talk to me.
So that's not something I'm going to do the first time, most likely.
What do you mean?
Well, most chicks aren't going to invite you to their place the first time, or me inviting them, and they're going to say, okay. They say, well, let me get to know you a little
No,
bit.
you're inviting yourself.
I know.
Well, what do you mean most chicks aren't going to? This is all your stuff. It doesn't have anything to do with
I know
the
it's
women.
a limiting belief.
No, I mean really, truly, this is really your stuff. This doesn't have anything to do with the women. Doesn't have anything to do with men. All right. Who? Just stay there for a second, okay? Raise your hand if you have met more than 10 really attractive young women and gone to their house for the first get-together in your life. Okay. So this is really all your stuff. It's all about your programming of what you think. You're taking those deep breaths. I can see it. It's like,
I think it's society's programming.
well,
Don't you?
it's yours. Society can do whatever the hell it wants. Okay. Society isn't affecting all the people over here that raise their hand. I understand that the culture and whatever has victimized you, and your mother told you to be nice, and I know where this stuff came from. I get it, but really, it's really about you. It's not about her or the situation. You don't quite buy it yet.
No, I do. I do buy it, and you're right. I realize that.
If you meet a really attractive woman and you say, "Hey, what's going on?" and she's like, "Oh, hi," and you say, "You know what? I got to go, but we're going to get together sometime because I'm going to find out what you're really like." And then you say, "Here's what we're doing." Have you ever tried that? Have you just said, "Hey, here's what we're doing"?
Not in those words. Not initially.
Okay, we'll do that the next 10 times and see what happens. Be real casual about it. Say, "You know what? We're going to meet up at Starbucks. You're going to buy me a cup of tea, and you're going to prove to me in 30 minutes that you're worth a second get together." Deal? Try that.
Okay.
Try those words.
I'll email you.
Yeah. You were next. Stand up. And then he was next.
Just when you and Craig were talking about posting up and approaching girls, there seems to be an incongruity between the idea of you find your place, my house,
Yeah,
I'm
right.
standing back, behold my kingdom, and then yet he says, and then I go up to a girl. Well, don't you lose your place? And I mean,
No, I hear what you're saying exactly. All things are right. All can work. Okay, everyone's right. Everybody's system works for them. And I'm really going to put a lot of conflicting things in front of you here. You're going to see a lot of different stuff. You with me? I want you to pick the thing that works for you. Really. Okay? You better not try and sneak two in there. No, the guy that's making the animal noises.
All right, thank you. Okay, so I just want to say something real quick about using magic to meet women.
Yeah.
So after I saw your that $50 trick on DVD, I
Sure.
thought, wow, that's really cool. I gotta learn this. So when I was on the train, there was a woman sitting across from me. I thought, okay, it's a perfect chance to practice. It turns out I totally botched it. I mean, she wasn't impressed. But we still had a great conversation afterwards. So that's when made me realize the magic is just an opener. It's not the main thing. So it doesn't matter. I botched it. It was something got me and her talking, and I got her email afterwards.
It's you know what, that's so important. That's such a key piece. This guy standing in the back here, who's been helping us out, he taught me this thing that he calls the line game. You may have heard me talking about this in some of my other programs, where you walk up, you and your friends go out and you choose a line that one of you has to say to a woman, and if you're with women, you have one of the women say it to a guy. You make up a pickup line for that person to go use, and you're meant to get shot down. Okay, you're meant to get shot down, really. And I don't remember which one it was, but I was talking about, the one where you walk up to a girl and you go, you're the luckiest girl in here, and the girl says, what? Like, why is that? And you go, because you're talking to this guy. All right? Now, I have to pay you royalties on that one. I mean, that one is world class, okay? Now, let me tell you, when you roll up to the 2 hottest women in there and you do that, and they're like stunned. They don't know what the hell is going on. They're like, and then you turn around, you're like, woo, and you're like high-fiving your friends, and of course they're snapping pictures while it's happening. So the follow-up to that, of course, is we went out with a new friend of ours who we played a great joke on that night. And we went to this place, and we're hanging out, and the group came up with, me and this other friend had to be the 2 guys from Roxbury, the guys from Roxbury, right? And we had to walk up to some girls and introduce each other. And so my friend's going, and I'm going. And so we walk through the bar, and it's not easy to do that. We get all the way around the bar to these 2 attractive women that are sitting at the bar together. We walk around, and I tap the one on the shoulder. I'm like, hey! And she turns around, and right as she goes to turn around, the bartender walks up to them. And you can tell that he knows them, and he's all cool, and he's like, hey, ladies. And they both are like, hi, man. Right as I say, hey. So they turn around, and he looks at me at the same time as I'm going. And I'm all, this is my friend Aaron. And he's all, this man. And these women are just mortified. And the bartender's going, he can't believe it. He's stunned, right? And they turn around. They're like, so I keep trying to talk to the girl while I'm doing this. Of course, they're over in the corner taking pictures of it and laughing. And we walk away and we're high-fiving each other. Now what happens, of course, after you're done doing this? What do the women do? They can't believe that anybody could possibly have done that. And then they realize it was a gag and it was funny and your friends are all laughing and you're taking pictures. I couldn't have believed it myself that it would work, but it's true. Doing something and having fun with it and then screwing it up, it shows a human side. It's fun. You're having a good time. You're enjoying yourself. Stand up. Take a mic.
Can you talk a little bit about how long it takes from to go from, let's say, you're just starting to, or how long it took you, how long it took Craig,
sure,
things like that.
It's a great question. One of the bitches about life is that no 2 of us are the same, but it's one of the blessings at the same time, right? Because we each have our strengths and our weaknesses and our natural gifts and the things we're good at and the things we take to and the things we don't. And so what I would say to you is it all depends on you. It depends on how fast you want it to happen, and it depends on what you do in order to make it happen, right? If you don't really care about it, if you're like, well, I'd like to learn this, and it would be cool if I learned a couple of things that helped me to become more successful, it's probably going to take you a while. But if you say, you know what, I am going to figure this out absolutely. There's no other option for me. I'm just going to do it, and I'm going to do what it takes. You connect up with a couple of people in this room, you make some friends with some other people, and most importantly, you open your mind, okay? You open yourself to input, criticism, okay? You don't stay attached to who you are. It can happen very quickly. How fast? I don't know. I don't know. We're each born with our own, kind of unique set of things, and we have our own programming and our own barriers and our own challenges. So I don't know. But I think it can happen pretty quick if you're really committed to it, One of the things I've noticed a lot at these programs is people come up to me and they say, oh, I tried this thing and it didn't quite work, or I did this thing and it didn't exactly work the way you wanted it to, or I tried your technique 10 times and I just can't get the results. And I look at the guy and I think, dude, have you looked at yourself in a mirror lately? Are you kidding? Like, you couldn't meet girls with money taped to you if you were in Tijuana, okay? I mean, I don't remember what movie it was in, but like somebody goes, dig yourself, man. What movie was that in? Dig yourself. Do you know? You don't know what movie it's in. You're just trying to sneak in there, huh? Oh, I see. I get you. Okay. All right. Just in a sec here. If you can't be honest with yourself or hear honesty from other people, when you're first starting out as a guy, most guys are not they don't just naturally get this stuff. So they need a little bit of coaching. They need a little help. They need some input from some other people. And if you need a lot of help, okay, if you're one of those that needs extra help, it's going to be harder for you to hear it because it's not going to be as easy for people to tell you, okay, if you're doing something really bizarre. So you got to really listen to the feedback people give you. You got to really hear it. If somebody makes a little comment, I was recently at a gathering of people that were working on a business project, and it's kind of a project for business and for the greater good of humanity. And one of the guys that was there, he had something about his appearance that really was very obviously hurting him. And I won't go into the whole thing, but several of the people that were involved in this meeting independently said that he needed to change this thing to add credibility to his message because he's a brilliant guy. And it was interesting to me as I watched is he didn't hear it. It just kind of bounced off him like, oh yeah, I've heard that a couple of times. But he didn't realize that the people he was talking to would know this. They're on a different level. He really should have heard it. And he's going to have a hard time probably for a while until he takes this information and does something with it. It's really hard to hear things that are about yourself, and do something with it. So be open, get really good feedback from people and listen to it. If you're hanging out with a guy that's really good with women and you say, teach me something, and he starts to give you feedback, reward him for giving you positive feedback, whatever it is. If he says something about you like change your hair or change your shoes or whatever, instead of saying, oh yeah, I got cooler shoes at home, I don't need to talk about that, tell me something else, he's going to go, whatever. Okay? Say, what kind of shoes would you buy? Cool, thank you for that information. What else would you do? Right? People like to give, but they only like to give to people that will receive gracefully. What else? One or two more?
Talk to me about this, you were talking earlier about the not caring attitude, when you go out, you're not focusing on picking up girls, you're just having fun and you just don't think about it. Now, logic, or quote-unquote logic, basically says that if you don't care, how do you notice who's around you? If you want to improve this situation, how do you improve it by not caring? You know what I mean? Shouldn't you, in the beginning, when you're trying to get this thing handled, be caring about this thing because you want to get over it before you actually learn to not care about it? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Good.
You care about not caring, obviously.
What?
You care about not caring.
Yes, I do care about not I care about understanding what you mean so I can get it right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you.
Good.
Let me do some primitive art here real quick for you, okay? And then we'll get on to the next section. It's a nice modern flip chart, obviously made within the last 40 years. Let's say that this is the beginning of your journey with this material. And this is the hypothetical end, kind of the ideal that you're looking for. All right? A lot of the things that we're talking about are things that more advanced people do. Okay? So you hear us talking about this term naturals a lot. Okay? It's what naturals do. It's the natural game. It's what the guys that are naturals do. And we're not just teaching you that so that you'll go do what they do. We're teaching you so that when these things start happening, you'll recognize them, you'll understand them, you'll see them in your environment. An important lesson that I learned in my life is that have you ever given someone advice trying to help them, and you really gave them some great advice, and they went and made the same mistake that they had made again? And you went, I just told you not to do that. And then they do it again, and then they come back 6 months later and they go, you know what I realized if I just do this one thing, then I can avoid all that stuff. And you're like, yeah, I just told you that 6 months ago, jackass. What's your problem? And they go, oh, well, yeah, but I figured it out, you know? Well, they probably figured it out because you told them 6 months ago. And it might have taken them 20 years to figure it out if you hadn't have mentioned it. So a lot of the things that we're doing here is we're kind of planting seeds in your mind so that when these things happen around you, you recognize them and you understand them. Okay? I don't wish for you to go out tonight with a couple of friends and go out to just have fun and not pay any attention to any women and then go home at the end of the night and go, wait, that didn't work. That's not what I'm looking for here. What I'm hoping is that in 2 months, one night you go out with a bunch of friends and you go out and it's a situation where you don't go out to meet women. Like you've got a few friends that they're having a birthday party and you go to show up and you bring a gift and you're there just to have fun and you've got the cool gift and your friend who you give it to, there's a girl there that's hanging out and she sees the cool gift and you're having fun with your friends and then she starts talking to you and you go, I remember when Craig said, just go out and the naturals just have fun and these kind of things happen and it'll make sense for you in a different way. Do you understand? So just remember that the things that we're talking about here, not all of them are meant for you to go out and try them all right now. You'd probably have a mental breakdown if you went out and tried to do all of them at once. Okay? If you just wrote down the top 20 ideas that you've learned so far and you're going to learn just as many this afternoon again, and you just tried to review it and remember it all, you'd freak out. You'd need medication. Okay? So think about it. It's going to look a lot different when you're here, and it's going to make a lot more sense to you. Okay? We're planting a lot of seeds in your mind right now. Just remember that. If you don't get it or you don't understand it, that's fine. That's right where you're supposed to be. It's okay. One more, just because you got that Marshall shirt on right there.
Yeah, it's kind of musical.
Stand up.
Actually, it's from your ebook.
You got to love this. The musician guy hits the mic to turn it on. I like this. You know how gear works.
I know how to treat a mic.
You know how it works. Go ahead.
In your ebook, you gave a good analogy. You compared it to learning a musical instrument.
Yeah.
There's just no one avoiding the fact that the first time you pick up an instrument, you're not going to be able to play it. You just have to work it. But eventually, you don't even have to think about it.
Yeah,
it just
exactly.
becomes mastery.
Yeah, becomes natural. The greatest musicians, especially rock and jazz musicians, they get to the point where they're not thinking and concentrating on what they're doing anymore. They know it comes out of them. It just flows naturally because they've gotten so good. Who has heard my interviews with dating gurus with Will? Who heard Will? Did you find that interesting? That's pretty good. Well, he's about to come up on stage, so give him a round of applause. What's up, man?
What's going on?
Is that microphone of yours on?
Is it?
Yeah? You guys hear that pretty good?
All right.
Okay. So, talk to me. What do you got to share with us here?
What do you want to know?
Well, I think I'd love to know how to, meet women in bars and clubs.
Wow. All right. I'll start at the beginning. First, I'd like to give a shout out to everybody. All right. Thanks for coming, Patty. Okay. First, when I walk into a club, first thing I do as soon as I get through the door is I stop and let everyone check me out. Literally, you walk in and you look around. It's like, just like what Craig would say, I don't say it's my house, but it's like I'm here. Because people will notice you when you come in. I also usually have something on like a hat or a shirt that'll stand out. For instance, obviously you guys know my name is not Abdul.
And you're probably not
a New York City taxi cab driver. So that stands out.
So what you do is you fake them out, basically, right?
Right.
Okay, good.
Or if they believe it, then I can speak with an accent. It's cool. I'm flexible. Then what I do is I scope out the spot to see exactly who I'd want to talk to, because I have standards and I'm not going to talk to everybody. So basically I might talk to 6 to 8 girls the whole night. So I check out who they're with, what they're drinking, especially their friends, because there's cock blockers, and then there's those that nobody wants to talk to, and then there's the groups that's in the back, so you have to wait till they actually come in the light so you can see them.
Now, how is that? Did you hear what he said? I go out and I check things out because I'm only going to talk to 6 or 8 girls tonight. So I got to figure out who they are. I'm only going to talk to 6 or 8 of them. It's a little different, isn't it? Please continue.
Oh, thanks. And after that, the ones that I'm going to talk to, I try and make eye contact with them. Or I see who's checking me out. So let's say I'm walking by and we make eye contact. She's going to look away first. So I make a mental note to self as I'm walking through the club. I do a once through, see who's checking me out. And mental note to self, I'm going to talk to her later. Or I'll say something stupid to her, or I'll try and trip her, or I'll push her, or, The push thing really works. Like, I'll go up to a girl and I'll be walking by. And a lot of times they'll push you back, which means it's on. Or let's say I'm walking through the club and a pretty girl that's walking through that I might want to talk to, I might do something like this. I'll put a bar stool in her way. So she has to go through me now. And then I'll say something like, you know what, you are so in my way.
That has a lot of value right there. That's good. That's nice.
Yeah. So basically, how the club setup works is every guy in the club, for the first 2 hours that it's open, all the guys are trying to talk to the same 25, 30, the hottest girls in the club. It's almost like musical chairs. You see guys sitting there waiting like, come on, bruh. And all the other girls in the club who no one is talking to are like, man, what's up? They're waiting for guys to talk to them. So about 2 hours later, after all the hot girls are either taken, they've left, or they're occupied, then the guys move out into the general population. Start talking to whoever's left. Their second and third round draft picks. So, actually, I'll even share a story that happened a couple weeks ago in a club. I got to the club right before it closed. I'm not advocating this at all. Don't do this. I got there at 3:30. The club closed at 4. I got there to talk to my boy. He had problems. So, me being the good friend I am, I got off work and I went down to go try and talk to him about girl problems. So we're sitting there talking. You know how you feel someone's looking at you? You can just feel it. So I looked back. Didn't say anything. Now, this is one of the clubs where there has a couch that goes all along the side of the club. There was nowhere else to sit but next to this girl. So we sat down next to the girl. She's still looking at me. So I didn't really feel like saying anything to her, so I just turned and stared at her for about 12 seconds, like this. Then I turned back, got my drink, and started talking to my friend. She's still looking at me. Now she's a little perturbed, pissed, whatever. So she does the obligatory, gets up to see if myself are going to go out and follow her, out the club or whatever, into the hall, see if I'll follow. Me and my friend watch her get up and walk out the hall, and we went back to talking. She comes back in highly upset. She tells her friend, let's go. She says bye. Okay, we say bye. 15 seconds later, she comes back in the club, pushes my friend out the way, and says, I want your number. I say, not with that attitude.
I would love to be able to explain this all by saying that you're, a very attractive man. Or that you're you got some looks thing going for you, but I can't figure it out here. What are you doing? Yeah, catnip in your pocket or something?
I get that a lot. So After I said not with that attitude, she says, no, you're going to give me your number. So this has happened before, so I kind of know how to handle the situation. So I saw that look. But I said, okay, fine. I asked for her phone. I'm still not looking at her. I'm like, give me your phone. I put my number in the phone, give it back to her. Don't even look at her. 10 seconds later, after she left, my phone rings. Now, the reason I gave her my right number was because if I didn't, she'd come back and cause a scene. We can't have that. So I pick up the phone. It's the right number. So now I have the number so I can tactfully avoid her. So actually, eye contact is a big thing in clubs. Some of my best encounters have come because of eye contact. One thing I like to do is I'll walk in a club, and if I see a girl making eye contact with me, I will go stand about 4 feet from her and stare at her until she says something. Literally. Whether it's a laugh, smile, okay, you got me, hi, then she says hi, I say, well, it's about time. And then we'll go from there. It's a way to break down the defense barrier. Plus, I haven't pierced it. I'm standing like where you are. So I'm like staring, well, maybe not that far, but. So it's a way to break down the defense barrier. A lot of times I'll just walk through the club and just basically mess with everybody. Let's say if I see a guy wearing a shirt I would never wear, I'll go up to some girl and be like, listen, if you see me wearing a shirt like that, please beat the living crap out of me. Please. Now, it's some crazy shirt, but it gets them in the conversation. Or if we'll watch other people dance, or we'll talk about fat people. I don't advocate that, but we talk about fat people. Or anybody else for that matter. Talk about
fat with an F, not with a PH, right?
Right, exactly.
Okay, all right.
Exactly.
I'm with you.
Yeah. So a lot of guys, especially in New York now, a lot of guys, they use their cars, jewelry, bling bling, stuff like that to try and create some type of attraction. The only problem is you can't bring your car in the club. I've tried. Just doesn't work. So, and the answer, the rest of the thing you said about dating is really counterproductive, extremely. It's actually, matter of fact, I got a definition for dating for you. Hold up. I was thinking about it, and I wrote it down. Dating, the process of spending enormous amounts of money, time, and energy to get better acquainted with a person whom you don't especially like in the present, which I got that from you, and will learn to like a lot less in the future. Also define easy for you. Easy is a term used to describe a woman who has the sexual morals of a man.
You're like the philosopher Prince or something.
Yeah.
It's good.
I also work days.
It's good. It's good. Well, talk a little bit more about situations that happen inside of bars and clubs, and also talk about situations that happen outside of them.
All right.
What are some common things that you run into? What are some mistakes that guys make typically that you see that could be prevented very easily?
Ooh. First off, offering to buy drinks right off the bat. And for all you guys who do, thank you very much. You've helped me out many a day. It says all the wrong things. And those drinks have time limits, by the way. You have about 8 minutes to do something to entertain her enough where she will give you another 8 minutes whenever you buy a girl a drink. So actually, I prefer them to buy me drinks. So for wasting my time. Other things I notice.
Who here makes it a standard practice to have women buy them drinks? Good. Break some paradigms open there. Go ahead.
Okay. Actually, you can ask the women themselves, and they'll tell you what the guys are doing wrong. Like, I'll see a woman reject a guy, and I'll immediately rush over to him like, okay, what did he do? You sent him packing, I gotta know what he said, you know, that kind of thing. Or they'll come up and just the way they approach the body language, they'll touch the girl too soon or at all, you know, and she wasn't feeling it. Or let's say she's walking through the club and they'll try and grab her hand or anything else he can get on, you know, and then think that she's going to be endeared to him. A lot of women don't like that. They'll say some of the stupidest things. Oh my God. You know, all them lines you hear in the jokes and the movies, guys still say that. You know, you must be tired, you've been running through my mind. They say that. For real. You know, or they'll say something like, for instance, they'll try and act too cool. You know, they'll have exaggerated body language, like, yo, 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 what's up, baby? And she'll look at him like, you lost your damn mind. You know. And I've also noticed that hi doesn't work either. You need something else. Like, for instance, you go up to go, hi. The response is not usually that great. I'm not saying don't do it either.
Do you advocate or not advocate anything?
No.
Okay.
You did not hear it from me. I will deny it vehemently. Actually, funny thing, me and my younger sister, we used to go to clubs and we used to sit in she would sit in one corner, I would sit in the other, and we would see how many people would pick us up. We wouldn't move, but we would be able to see each other and it'd be like a race or whatever. But the problem was sometimes you get that one person that wants to hang on and don't leave. You know how it is, right? They just won't go. You're done talking with them. You don't want to deal with them anymore. And you're like trying to get rid of them, but they won't go. Not that that's ever happened to anybody here, but I've done that once. She was really cute. But, outside the club. Which aspect you want me to get into outside the club?
No, you know, I think it would be interesting to hear just, you know, other part of this program is other public places. So we have to like pay homage to that just a little tiny bit. And, you know, I really believe that if you can learn to be successful with women inside bars and clubs, that all that stuff that works so much better when you're like, again, in a Starbucks sitting next to a girl or that kind of thing.
All right.
Yeah.
One thing I have is a mindset. And the mindset that I have is that every woman wants me. A lot. So I expect strange things to happen. I expect to be just sitting minding my own business and a girl to come up to me and start talking to me for no reason. I expect to be in a club and two girls to start dancing with me because they think I'm cute. I expect to be able to walk up to any woman and be able to start a conversation saying the dumbest stuff. I mean, like I go up to a girl like, I lowered my cholesterol today. And I use that, by the way. And I mean, once you get it, you can say anything. I mean, you can say, I'm Rick James, bitch, and start the conversation.
I'm Rick James, bitch. If you haven't seen that Dave Chappelle skit, get on the internet and go download it immediately.
Yeah, for real.
It's good.
I mean, something like I'll go up to, let's say, a girl or girls that stand over there, and let's say I might, this is one thing I might say. Excuse me, I just want to know your name so that I know who myself and my friend have been talking about for the last 5 minutes. And then walk away once he tells me her name. She'll come back because it'll kill her, like, okay, what were they saying? I gotta know. No, but you've broken the ice, you set a tone, and now you've left. So you're planting seeds.
Yeah, do you notice the subtle difference, the way that he communicates there? He didn't say, so that I can know who me and my friend have been making compliments about in the last 5 minutes. It's who we've been talking about. Who knows if that's good or bad? It implies all kinds of mystery, and she wants to know. Just like when you snap a picture of a woman, she wants to know what's in that camera as soon as it happens.
Pretty much. Like a lot of people, they ask me as far as what should they do to open a conversation with a girl. Say anything. You can go up to a girl, I hate your perfume. But you started a conversation. And I mean, don't say it in a mean way. Say it in a, well, I don't know. You can't say that, not mean, but.
One of the things that he's saying is, it's very interesting. You heard Craig talk earlier about bait and fishing. Okay, one of the things that I do a lot, and I've noticed that Craig does a lot, is just walking through the world, throwing comments out there and seeing if anyone grabs hold of one and takes it and runs with it. Okay, and a lot of the things that he's saying here, that's what he's doing. He's just walking through the world and saying different stuff that's goofy and off the wall to see if he runs into a friendly, interesting woman. And when he does, he recognizes it and he goes, there's one. You don't have to waste a lot of time when you're doing it that way. You don't have to, sit there thinking, okay, there she is. I have to calculate my game plan. God, I better get a drink and calm myself down so I can stalk her calmly. Where'd she go? Damn, I got to run over by the girls' bathroom. She'll show up there at some point. Everybody's laughing because they've done this a number of times. I know what you do. I've never done any of this stuff, but
Yeah, that's pretty much what goes on.
exactly.
The guys are staying just like you said, staying 4 feet from the girl, act like they're not looking at her. Like she's not gonna notice, and then they finally get up enough courage. Like, okay, where'd she go?
You guys remember in Swingers where he was like, "Come on, is she looking at me now? All right, how about now? Is she looking at me now? All right, how about now?" And he's like, "Dude, she just looked." He's like, "Oh, damn."
Yeah, just like back to like say dating. A date for me is, let's say I have a basketball game, you're welcome to come with. That's a date. No money, nothing else. Afterwards, let's say we go to something like shoot pool, so I can see if I really want to spend more time with this person. I mean, of course, there's usually lots of hotels within like the general vicinity or something, but that's a date. I don't bring people back to my place. Frankly, I don't want them to know where I live. They do know my last name, though. And I live in Jersey.
But you're unlisted.
Yeah.
All right. Give him a big round of applause. That's some great stuff. Thanks, man. All right. Who's heard my friend Marie in an interview or seen her at one of my programs and so forth? Good. Okay, well, she's here, so give her a big round of applause and welcome her up here.
Thank you. Hi, everyone.
Mwah.
Good to see you.
Oh, did you hear the electricity there? Her boyfriend's in the back here, so I got to be really careful.
Hi, guys.
This is that thing on? Yeah. Okay. Good. She said hi, so say hi to her back.
Hi.
Make her feel real good.
Are you guys having fun? You learning a lot? Excellent.
The cool thing about Marie is she's one of the only women I know that when I said I'm doing a program on how to meet women in bars and clubs, she's like, "That sounds cool. I'd love to come talk at that." And I said, "Get on down here." So she wrote this great outline for me, and it's like all these pages, and I thought it was going to be like one little thing, so it's like this cheat sheet, so I'm trying to hide it behind my journal here so it doesn't look too, I'm like, okay, well, let me cue you on number 46B.
I just have so much I want to talk to you guys about, but we'll get there step by step.
Let's roll. All right, so we're going to start with the things that men do wrong when they approach women in bars and clubs. Now, this is somebody that I would listen to if I were you. She's one of those cool female friends, those gems that I've been able to make in life, just gets things on a lot of levels and can just, bam, throw it out there, let you know what it's like from a woman's perspective.
So one of the first things, you guys have heard this over and over again today, but it merits repeating, is the eye contact. And it was interesting before, I heard someone ask, well, how do you practice this? Or I think you might have even posed the question, what's an exercise to do to actually practice making eye contact and feeling comfortable doing it? And it's really simple. You just do it. Don't think about doing it in a mirror or doing it like with your guy friends or your girlfriends. Just go out and make eye contact with people, but don't wait until you get into a bar or a club and you're kind of all nervous because you see a good-looking woman or whatever. Do it all day long. Do it when you get up and when you go to work. when you're traveling, you're commuting on your day, you're in the subway, you're just with colleagues. Like, you don't have to practice doing it in the sensual, you want me way, but just practice being comfortable communicating with people and connecting with them. That will make it so much more likely when you're in a situation with a woman and you're at a bar at a club. It's like you're already rolling. You know what I mean? You've been practicing all day long. You've been relating with people. So it's not this big gearing up, oh my God, I have to do this now, and the rest of your life you're kind of just compartmentalized and all, into yourself. Does that make sense?
There's a term that I taught a lot about in my mastery program that I recently did. The term is intimacy. Intimacy. And when a lot of people hear that word, they think it means sex, like we're getting physical with someone. But intimacy is an interesting word because it can mean something else used in a different context. Intimacy can mean letting someone in, letting them know who you are, kind of inviting someone to get to know you, getting to know them, learning who they are, being comfortable in their presence, being comfortable with them knowing things about you. And eye contact is an interesting way to communicate that I would like to be intimate with you. Again, not in the sexual or physical way, but inviting someone to have intimacy with you. And women can really pick this one up. Okay, women are something like 10 times better than men at sending and receiving subtle body language cues, using eye contact and voice tone and gestures and so forth. So when a woman looks at you, she'll be able to tell by your eye contact whether or not you can deal with being intimate with another human being or intimate with a woman.
And this is another big point, just to kind of go right off of that. One of the biggest things that women look for is men that know how to have relationships not only with women but with other men. So if you're just kind of that guy that's looking around for all the single women, we can pick you out in a minute and stay away from you for the whole night. On the other hand, if you look like you're having a great time and you're conversing with men and women, you look like you're social, you have a network of friends, of people that you know there. Women are so much more likely to be not only attracted to men like that, but more open to go up and start a conversation with you because you're normal. You're not that predator that's out there looking to find a single girl and take her home. Does that make sense? A really big thing that women look for, and it doesn't matter, it's kind of bars, clubs, but anywhere in life, we're looking for people that are likable, that they have a lot of friends, and that we're going to want to bring them around our circle of friends. So they got to be kind of nice. I mean, the cocky, funny stuff, I think it's brilliant. It's really brilliant. But what he was saying, that it has to come from a fun place, that is so on the money. Because if it's not fun, if you've got a mean spirit in there, or if you have stuff with women, like you think all women are this, or they're all gold diggers, or you're coming from a place where women are less, or you have a problem with women, we're going to pick it up and be like, forget about it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's so important. A lot of guys I think they get the impression from me that, when I interact with women, I must just make women feel like they're less than me, or somehow like put them down or something. And that can work with women. I mean, a lot of guys that are real jerks that have this kind of superiority thing, they attract women like a magnet, but they usually attract unhealthy.
Exactly. The wrong women.
Yeah, they attract really unhealthy women. What she said is really interesting in that when a woman first meets you and starts looking at you and getting to know you, they're thinking in their mind, okay, is this the kind of guy that I could introduce to my friends?
Or family.
Or family.
Exactly.
Yeah, if you're starting to meet the friends or the family, she's thinking wedding.
Yeah.
The wedding bells are ringing.
And the stuff that we're talking about here, I mean, I'm making the assumption, to be honest with you, that you guys are looking to have great relationships, and they can be short ones, they can be casual ones. It doesn't have to lead to marriage or some commitment, but it's just about being able to successfully relate with women on a consistent basis.
Did you see them raise their hands earlier? I don't think you were here.
No.
Who is interested in meeting a really great woman to have a great long-term relationship? Raise your hand.
Yeah, that's
right?
awesome. So this completely applies to you. And the only way that you're going to get to date a lot of women and meet a lot of women is to have the mindset going in, like what you were just talking about, that they're not less. Like, take a check within yourself. If you go around thinking all women just, whether it's they want to get married for money, or they're just looking at me for my money, or X, Y, and Z, those kind of things are barriers. There's things that will come up between you and just being able to successfully relate with a woman in a bar or a club. That's a little deep, but if you can start to notice that stuff, it'll dissolve. You don't have to do anything about it.
All right, let's talk about dressing for success.
You're
like the fashion goddess.
I love this. This is a favorite for me. in bars and clubs, I'm from New York. I was originally born in New Jersey, so I grew up around this area. And I'll tell you, one of the biggest things that I notice that women look for is just men that are dressed well. It's like having that style and knowing what's in and what's out. The great pair of jeans, I can't tell you how important that is. There's a particular brand you should look for. It's a paper denim cloth. Paper denim cloth. Also the number 7, but they spell it out. The company spells it out, S-E-V-E-N. 7 jeans are great.
And by the way, if you're listening to this, we're in late 2004.
Yeah.
And I'm serious, you know?
Yeah, but it's important. So this kind of stuff, Ted Baker makes fantastic shirts, something like what David has on right now. So does Ben Sherman. Great, great shirts. It may sound inconsequential to you and like, why does this stuff matter? What I'm telling you is what works. So don't get caught up in the why of things. It'll drive you crazy. You'll never understand it.
Yeah.
But
just do what works, please.
Don't worry about the why of the things that we're talking about. We're just going to tell you the quick and easy things to make it work. Stores, that's okay.
How long will a style stay in style?
Well, I'll tell you.
How long will a style stay in style until it's not in style anymore? You got to be tuned into it.
It's like I bought a pair of $175 diesel jeans last year.
They probably are. How do you feel in them? Honestly, do you?
Yeah, I do. I feel great.
Then they probably look great. If you can find a great girlfriend, just someone or a woman that you know that's into style, just ask her. They love to give advice on stuff like this, and they'll probably be really honest with you.
My take is lately, in the last, let's say, 5 to 10 years, styles. I mean, if you have a lot of classic things that look good, and then you mix that with a few kind of trendy things, okay, that communicates in a certain way, okay?
And there's another key point. If trendy seems like a big word, and it's like, what the hell is trendy? What am I going to wear latex out? Like, you don't know what that means.
Or PVC, for instance?
Yeah, don't worry about it. What I suggest always is go for class and style. Again, women, don't ask me why, but this is just how it works. They're going to judge you on if you have style and if you're classy. So a great dress shirt, if it's black, is classy and it's trendy and it's stylish. It's going to look great. Thomas Pink is another person that makes fantastic dress shirts. You guys can find this stuff. I mean, Century 21 downtown, if you're in the New York area, has fantastic, like Dolce & Gabbana, Versace, all the names that I mentioned. They have these labels, and they're usually at least 30 to 50% off retail prices. I'm sure eBay is also another excellent place to find stuff. And I mean, you don't want to all look alike, but you're going to express yourself through your clothing. You're going to spend money on it anyway. You might as well just do the best. This is your life. You got one shot. You might as well feel good doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, another thing is if you're really you don't want to stay up with the trends, if you can get a style that's more than 50 or 100 years old, you can learn what fashion was like a long time ago, and you can tune into the timeless kind of classic looks. That can work for you too.
Yeah, there's another thing to stay away from. This is just a pet peeve of mine when I see it, is jeans or pants that are really high-waisted and then like wanting to put a belt there, up here. Most jeans within the past, and this is just, again, they're like, what is she talking about? Just trust me. Go for jeans that are they will sit on your hips. Gap makes great ones now. I mean, you don't have to go super high-end, but just make sure that your pants are up to date because it makes a difference. Shoes is the other thing. I know you got a question. We're going to get to you in just a moment. Shoes is probably one of the biggest things that women look at. Again, don't worry about the why. Just know that women are checking out your shoes. I know for me, in college, there was a time when there was a guy and he was really cute and I was interested in dating him. I looked down and I was like, you've got to be kidding me, and would not even go there. It was like these multicolored boat shoes. I don't know what he was thinking. But again, get a good friend, get a girlfriend, go out to a great department store. The sales girls or even salesmen will be happy to help you out. Even if you don't buy from them, they'll just point you in the right direction and show you what's going on.
2 or 3 nice, cool pairs of jeans and a bunch of T-shirts and a really nice pair of shoes can take you a long way.
Absolutely.
I mean, a long way, really. I mean, you can wear a cool pair of jeans and with a really nice pair of shoes and just some casual shirt, and you can go out and women will make a comment about what a great dresser you are. It's amazing.
Pumas
Shoes,
are
very
great
important.
sneakers too. If you
Oh,
guys
yeah.
ever hit a club or you go someplace that's, kind of like that casual night, like a Sunday night in New York is often very, it's not that dressed up. It's more kind of industry, fashion, entertainment related. Pumas are like the best sneakers in the world to throw on, even with dress pants or a jacket. Just little things. Check out, GQ is probably a little over the top, but see if you can glean basics or general trends. If you stay with, if style and trends are not your thing, you don't have to get so into it. You don't need to get bogged down. Just stay with what you were talking about, the classics, whites, blacks, creams, grays.
Craig said something very important. I mean, it was so key. Go out and just pay attention to the guys that are with the really attractive women and look at what they're wearing. And you won't have to do it for very long before you'll see some commonalities and you'll go, oh, that. And you'll see the commonalities that would work for you. And you can go, oh, I like those kind of jeans or those kind of shoes or those kind of shirts are okay and that one doesn't work for me. Like for me, like the trend now for the like really bright lined like pinstripe shirts with like 100 different colors, I can't dig that. I just don't.
It's not your thing.
Not into it. I won't go there. And that's fine. It's okay. Gives me something to make fun of too, which is pretty enjoyable actually.
Another key accessory is a watch. I don't know why, but I always hear my girlfriends talk about, oh my God, he had this great watch. Or they will actually go up to a guy and talk to him about his watch. Again, don't know why, but I know it happens.
You know what? We're going to wait till the end for the questions in the comments, okay? Good.
Can I give an upgrade from what Craig said?
That's what I'm talking
Where's
about.
Craig? All right, this is for you too. So rather than chapstick, go and get a $5 little pot, or they have a same kind of thing at Kiehl's. If you know about Kiehl's and you whip out your little thing of Kiehl's, women know the brand. They know that you're in. Does that make sense? It's like taking you from, I don't know, like a Volvo up into a Lamborghini. Do you know what I mean? It's upping you that much. So Kiehl's has awesome lip stuff. I think they might have some flavors, but women are into brand recognition, especially with products.
Yeah, if you're running around in a pair of 7 jeans, like she just mentioned, if you've got 7 jeans on, everything about you is different from all the guys that don't have 7 jeans on. If you're like that, that leading edge, it just takes you so far.
No, not unless you're in Chelsea
don't worry about
and
the
you're
style.
not worried about dating women.
Talk about interacting with other people instead of just that person. Right?
Yes, this is so key. Just what Craig was saying too, which was brilliant, is just have fun when you're going out. Like actually be there to have fun. And I know it was a little confusing. Someone over here asked me, he's not paying attention, now you are, just about how do I need to care about this stuff and not have fun and all that. If you go out to have fun, just converse with everybody. Make it a point to have conversations with everybody. If you see a woman that you're really interested in, talk with her for a second and then move on. Nothing makes a girl miss you more than if you leave. Give us the gift of missing you. Walk away and have a conversation. But it doesn't have to be with just women. Again, if it's always just women, we get a little freaked out that you're a womanizer or that you're after one thing. If you look like you have friends there, or even if you make friends, or just talk to another guy for a half a second, it makes a big, big difference. I've been taking a little independent survey myself of girlfriends and successful ones that are single, attorneys, people in communications, people in the arts, actresses, everything, and ask them, when are you most likely to meet a guy in a bar? An overwhelming response that women have is that they have a stigma against meeting men in bars and clubs. They say they don't want to do it. So even though deep down they're going out hoping that they're going to meet the one, on the surface, they're saying that's not what they're out for. They don't want to do that. They're out to be with the girls. They're out to dance. They're out to have a good time. So just know that they kind of have a judgment against themselves for going out to a club to meet a guy. What really helps is if you get introduced to a woman via friends. And this is an idea that I had that it just works almost all the time. Be that person who throws the birthday party get-together at a club, that organizes, we're going to have drinks for, Gary's birthday on Saturday night. Everybody come out. Or when you get invited out for social things at work, usually there's a bunch of women somehow involved. You don't even have to do that much. You're going to get introduced. Like, people want to meet everyone who knows someone who's there. you're so much more likely to have a connection with a woman that's there because she feels there's immediate level of trust because you know someone who knows someone. Does that make sense? So because you're in a club and she's got this judgment against meeting a guy in a club, if you do it in such a way where you know someone, there's a connection out there, and especially if you organize it, that puts you in a position of, again, you have friends, you're networked, you're likable. Women are going to go to the guy like, wow, he threw a party. Oh my God, I want to go talk to him. Who's this guy? The trust thing is already there. It's like they feel like they know you already. Yeah? So be...
Whoa.
do a little more organically. Just be that person.
The interesting thing about what she's saying is, have you ever thought to yourself, if I meet a woman at a club, that she's going to have all these things, like she won't be able to tell her family or her friends how she met you, and that she has this like thing, I can't meet a guy at a club because it'll be sleazy, right? Most people haven't even thought that way, like what's going through a woman's mind. Okay, if a woman starts talking to you at a club, and you're really getting along, there's a good chance that in her mind she's sitting there going, oh, and in her mind she's thinking, all right, how am I going to explain this to my friends?
Yes.
All right, what am I going to say to them? Where do they? Okay, and then she's going to say to you, all right, now we can't tell my friends where we met.
Especially quality women. Especially quality women. The ones that have their lives together. They have a great job. They have friends. They have stuff going on. They're not going to be the stalkers, and they're most likely not going to be the drunk ones.
And this, of course, I see a great. Funny opportunity here. If you meet a woman and you're really connecting with her, you got to go, okay, stop, listen to me for a minute. We're going to have to tell our families that we met volunteering or something, right? You're with me on this, right?
That's brilliant. See, there you go. Like that would work.
Create the objection first. All right, talk to me about dancing.
Oh, God, this is so big. How many of you guys, honestly and truly, can I just see a show of hands, honestly and truly dance when you go out? Okay, now how many of you know you dance good? Wow, we're going to have to do a little test later because I don't quite believe
I don't know if I buy any of this.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm buying this either. Anyway.
I see some whiteness in this room.
I do too, a lot of it.
Overwhelming.
My point about dancing is not only should you do it, especially when it comes to bars and clubs, but you don't have to do that much. The thing that always boggles my mind is guys think they have to go out there and be John Travolta, you know what I mean, and just whip everyone away and start staying alive or something. You don't have to do that. If you indicate that you can dance, and indicating is just a little bit of movement to the rhythm, that's the biggest thing. To the actual beat. I actually have the privilege. I dance and I teach dance, and I teach people privately sometimes, and I've been teaching this man who him and his fiance broke up. So they were together for 6 or 7 years. He's like, Marie, God help me. He's like, I'm back out in the club scene. I don't know how to dance. I feel like such a white boy. He's like, please, you got to help me. So I remember the first lesson, the boy did not have rhythm, and it was scary. And I'm like, if he goes out and does this, they're just going to think he's not cool. They're not going to give him a chance unless they're really wasted. And then that little mechanism is going to kick in like, oh, my God, what I do last night, and they're not going to want to talk to him. Just learn to have a little bit of rhythm. Learn a little bit of hip-hop music, a little bit of reggae, the stuff that's out in the clubs right now. And just, if you can nod your head to the beat and you stand up and you just even slightly sway from side to side, women will come up to you and dance around you. You don't have to do anything more than that. Has anyone ever experienced that?
And their boyfriends will watch you dance.
But it's the truth. All you got to do is you got to have this cool look on your face, right? You got to know the music. You got to be having a good time. And if you just indicate the biggest thing is the rhythm, as long as you can keep beat with your head and just maybe do a little sidestep, girls will do circles around you. Don't touch them. That's the biggest thing. A lot of guys get really excited and they want to pull them to them and do this grind thing. No. Don't do that. That's terrible.
What about this whole thing? Is that cool?
No, but it might get a laugh out of them, which is cool. That could be great
Okay.
if it's over-exaggerated. Please, not in any serious kind of sense. But let the girls dance around you. Just let them do it. Don't put your hands on them. It'll get them even more excited because they're probably trying to get you excited and to show you how sexy they are. And if you don't touch them, it's kind of like when where are you? When he just turned away. It's just like, oh my God, this isn't working. It gets them even more like, well, I have to do it more, or I have to do it harder, or I have to, be sexier. And you'll have these girls doing circles around you. But the big thing is just learn to keep rhythm and dance. Get out there. The guys are like, no, I don't dance, I don't do that. You're looked at as not fun. And girls, they really do want to have a great time.
How about the, I want to just point something out real quick. If you do get into a situation where you're out dancing with a girl, think about all the things that we're talking about building attraction, okay? My friend Patty, who's over here in the room, she's a incredible dancer and dance coach and knows a lot about body language and so forth. And she and I were having a conversation. We talked about the fact that dancing, many dances were literally designed as kind of an embodiment or an enactment of the seduction process. Okay, it's like the courtship mating ritual put into a formalized set of moves. And if you know that, and you can do things like when you're dancing with her, like push her away and kind of let her go do her thing for a while, or when she comes over to kind of like dance in front of you and kind of rub herself on you, turn around and let her dance behind you. Okay, like create tension with the situation. All right, looking a woman directly in the eyes.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, again, practice this throughout your day. Don't just start when you go out to a club or you need a couple drinks to do it. It's not going to work. Just practice, really, when you're talking to a guy, you're talking to a woman who's 90 years old, people that are completely undateable to you. Just practice connecting with them, looking them in the eye, having a conversation, not looking away, not following a thought like, I don't care what this person's saying. Really engage with people around you. By the time you get out to the club at night, you're rolling. You're in.
What about how you smell?
Oh,
Whoa.
that's another big one. I mean, just be careful with too much cologne. I know there's been a lot of times when even I'll get into an elevator and it's like, oh my God, I get intoxicated. It's disgusting. So you just want maybe one little spritz. I think, God, what is it? Dracar. If anyone has that, burn it.
Slap yourself before
Slap
you do,
yourself.
please.
Angel, burn it. Burn it. There's my favorite, I don't know, I still like, there's this Marc Jacobs for men. I don't know, it's good. I mentioned this on the series before. It's still good. It's still good stuff. Things that are subtle, things that are not overpowering. I would even, to be honest, if you have a question about it, if it's a yes or a no or you're doubting, don't do it. Just make sure you're clean and, deodorized, to be really honest with you. It's better to have a neutral, just fresh smell than some disgusting, overpowering thing that completely clouds their ability to see you.
The one cologne that I've worn for a while that has gotten me the most consistent comments from women. I went into a department store and there was a flamingly gay man that was working there, and I mean I just knew it. It was like this man is going to know what's cool and what's not. Really. And so I said, you know what, help me out. And so we hung out and he showed me a bunch of things. And this particular one, he introduced me to different colors of clothing that I could wear. He just helped me get in touch with, I'm comfortable with my sexuality. What are you saying back there? I'm the only one in the room who is, huh? That's good. Oh, I say. Anyway, this one's it's called Hannah More. Hannah More. I think it's spelled Haneamor. More. I don't know. Hannah More. Go look for it. It's the only one.
Oh,
for
can we
men.
just for a second?
Yeah.
Products at home. I know someone talked about, bringing them back and having a little after party at your house, which is great. Again, on the little Kiehl's upgrade, get good products, even if there's a couple of them. I don't know why this happens, but if a girl, which she will, go into your bathroom, the very first thing, have some good soap or good something out. Like any Kiehl's products are awesome. Girls check for this stuff.
My ex-girlfriend came over recently to visit. She was in my house. She comes walking out of my bathroom. She's got my Bath and Body Works. I think it's Bath and Body Works. It's the warm vanilla sugar hand soap with the shea butter in it. She walks out and she's like, she just walked out with it. I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, ooh, this is good. I like this. Get that one. Warm vanilla sugar. hand soap. Yeah, these kind of things are good. Candles,
They are.
things that smell really good.
Women notice the details. That's why it sounds so crazy with the shoes and the watch and the keels. But you guys know this. So many good-looking women or great women, doesn't matter how they look, are wonderful friends with gay guys. Why? Because they know all the stuff. And the women want to hang out with them because they know what's in. They know this is fabulous, this isn't. And while you don't have to, be to that extreme, it helps to pay attention to things like that.
Mm. Yeah, it's interesting. Queer Eye for the Straight Guy is an unbelievable show. I wish that they actually spent less time entertaining and more teaching how they choose the different things that they do and, exactly what's behind their thinking. But, yeah, if you've got, like you said, gay men are just totally in touch with this stuff. They really get it. Oh, here we go. How about talking to groups of girls or approaching groups of girls?
There's usually, again, they have this judgment that comes up that they don't want to meet a guy in a bar or club. And there's usually that one girl that does. She'll put her arms around both her friends and be like, no, stay away. You can't have any of them.
Arr,
exactly.
I'm the cock block.
I love
that.
I loved what you said as far as just go with the flow, play right along with it. The biggest thing that I've noticed that guys do, the mistake that they make, is trying to single out one girl and take her away. Be friends with all of them. Again, be friends, and especially the biggest problem you'll have is if there's a guy with the group of girls. That guy will do everything in his power not to let you get into the group of friends, so you have to befriend them. Does that make sense? And not from a place, again, people are smart. You guys are smart. Women are extremely intuitive. We can smell a slimy guy from a mile away. It's the truth. So be authentic. Again, you're out to have a great time and meet people. The more people that you can just converse with and connect with, the more likely it's like things will happen on its own. You don't need all the techniques if you know how to genuinely connect with people and have a good time. Does that make sense? You'll need to rely less on pulling, tricks out of a bag and just actually be able to be yourself, and things will happen very naturally. It'll unfold for you versus you having to produce it. But if you do notice a guy, guys, it's just a thing that you do. Women do it as well. You just have a competition thing that goes on a lot of times when there's a man with a group of girls and another one comes over. So again, just be a cool guy. Just get in there. Hey, how you doing? What's your name? Whatever you're going to say. But once you befriend them, it's like, oh, wow, this is a normal guy. He's nice. I can let him be friends with my girlfriends.
What about the concept of meeting quality women?
Okay, meeting quality women. I heard a bunch of this. I've been sitting in the back of the room, listening and just taking mental notes. Quality women will hang out in quality places. So the nice restaurants, the nice clubs, the newest places. If you guys are in the New York area, dailycandy.com. I don't know if they have daily candy for men, but they always do. It's just basically a newsletter list that goes out every day. Talks about mostly women's things. However, they always premiere the best new restaurants in town. Restaurants are a great place because a lot of them have fantastic bar scenes. Just go there, hang out, and from there it's like a hop, skip, and a jump to a club. The clubs that are new, sexy restaurants like Spice Market downtown in the Meatpacking District, you got to go to the places that are new. Women love to be seen. You know what I mean? They love to be out and be noticed. So if you go to those kind of places, that's where the quality women go.
One of the things we haven't talked about is the concept of the real happy hour that happens actually after work at 4 or 5 o'clock on Friday. I've found that if you know the hip, the really cool new place, and you show up for happy hour, a lot of times there will be more women than men.
Yes.
A lot of times the food will be free or half price or something like that, and it'll be an incredible opportunity.
Yep.
Everybody's not drunk. There aren't a bunch of men that are walking around grabbing the women's asses and being stupid. And it's a much classier atmosphere. Sometimes it's still daylight out. It's like a totally different vibe, but yet it's an interesting mix.
A lot of that happens in Midtown. I don't know if you guys know that, but Midtown, and especially in the 50s and around the East Side, there's so many happy hour bars. And so, my girlfriends that are 9 to 5, great corporate jobs and media, this, that, and the other thing, they go out every Thursday night. That's their thing. They go to the Four Seasons sometimes. This was a point I wanted to make. Don't complain about the price of drinks or be like a crappy tipper. Nothing screams unsuccessful like a guy who's bitching and moaning about money. It's just like, you don't even want to hear it. While everybody has to be money conscious these days, it's just a factor of life, and we need to, have awareness around money. Don't complain about it. Don't be like, oh, I can't believe this is $20 to get in, or can you believe $15 for a drink? Oh, that is such a turnoff. Terrible.
Now, why is it a turnoff? Right? Why is it a turnoff? Because you're a whiner, not because you don't have the money. Right? If you don't have the money, that's okay.
Right.
If you whine about not having the money, that's not okay. You've got something written down here called Women Shop Talk. This sounds very interesting to me.
That was basically reiterating what we said. Just recognize that women have a judgment against meeting a guy in a bar or club. I loved what David said about that. Can you repeat that again?
No.
As far as,
I don't know what the hell it was.
It was about, please don't
up.
tell anyone that we met here.
Oh, yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, if you can take a woman's objection that she would have with you and turn it around and make a joke out of it with her, you're right in, because now she knows that you get it, and now she's going, oh, wait a minute. He took it. I don't have anything to say now. I don't have an objection.
Yeah, and I mean, again, along those lines, most women that are quality women, they want a relationship. Women are usually just more out about it. You know what I mean? They're like, yeah, I definitely want to get married and have kids. It's like they don't try and hide it. Most guys are like, I want to be a player, blah, blah, blah. And deep down, you really do want a great relationship. So knowing that, going into a situation, they're going to evaluate on your job. Again, the most important things, though, are if you can relate to a bunch of people. Is he nice? Is he friendly? Is he interested in other people or just interested in himself? That's what women talk about.
This is a great line that just jumped out at me from your notes here. Forget this women's rights crap. I got to hear what this is all about.
Okay.
To be fair to her, there are a few words before it called be a gentleman.
Yes.
So let me throw that out there. But those aren't the ones that jumped out at me. Go ahead.
It's on being a gentleman. I don't know. I've heard some different things in the dating world as far as, what should I do? Should I pay for dinner? Should I open the door? Some women don't like this. They feel like we should all be equal. I think that's a bunch of crap. The women that are going to fight for those things are usually man-haters. Do you know what I mean? Most of the women who are interested in having a great relationship are so pleased if you open a door for them or you pull out a chair or you're polite. It doesn't take away from the cocky or funny thing. You can do both. You can be a gentleman and still have that playful, fun, kind of pushing them away nature about you. Is this connecting? Do you know what I mean? But when it comes to the basic things, I can't tell you how many times I've just been out just socially talking with a guy and will notice myself if he doesn't open a door for me. And I have a boyfriend. I'm very happy. But I'll make a mental note in my head, that guy doesn't have it together. He's not classy. He doesn't know.
What are some of the things that guys can do to be a gentleman? What are some of the specifics?
Opening a door.
Okay, so let's say you're out at a bar or club, right? There are little subtle things you can do. Like, I'll just throw one out there, for instance. Let's say, a woman says, hey, can you hand me my drink? If, let's say there's some condensation around the outside, you can reach over and take a napkin and fold it up and put it around her drink and then hand it to her.
It's kind, you know what I mean? And if you do it with using the cocky and funny, it's just unbeatable. Does that make
you
sense?
can hand it to her and she can be like, wow, thank you. And you can say, I just didn't want to get your little glass drool on my hand. Right?
Exactly.
But she knows, though, what you were doing. Okay?
There's usually a lot of lines in bars and clubs, or you're trying to make it up and down the stairs and you're trying to get to the bathroom or something. Just letting a woman go by is a really confident thing to do. Not only does it give you a chance to make eye contact with her while she's walking by, but it's polite. Giving up your bar stool might be another thing that's polite. There's little things. You'll notice it too. It'll probably pop up in your head, just like, oh, I could do this for someone. Do it. I'd rather you err on the side of being a gentleman, because the other way will shoot you in the foot. You won't have a chance.
Sometimes, women are confused because it's interesting. The men's movement and the women's movement, you're probably familiar with these things, feminism, First, there was the women's movement. Women said, hey, you know what? We're tired of being oppressed and being treated as second-class citizens and making a second-class wage. We want equal rights and we want equal pay and we want to be able to get out of the home and we want to be able to work, right? Now, the challenge with it, unfortunately, is it started to say women should act masculine, right? It really encouraged masculine in women, and the pendulum swung way over here. And then what happened was this, backlash of the men's movement, where men started going out into the woods in big groups and sitting around and crying and talking about how their moms never held them and hugging each other and whatever. Anyway, so that pendulum swung the other way too, right? And it encouraged men really getting in touch with their feminine side. And so now we've got this kind of really bizarre mixed up culture where women, they don't know, well, when can I act like a woman, or should I be tough with this guy, or like, if he's opening the door for me, I'm going to say no way because he's like taking a stance that he's a superior to me and that he can open the door. And and men, they don't know what to do because they're like, oh, well, I don't want to offend her by saying anything. Well, the pendulums have swung too far in the two directions, okay? And women really do appreciate it if you are a gentleman. In my mastery program, I talk a lot about becoming a mature man, about maturity. And in my program on being a man, I really go into depth on this one. And I think that if you really want to make an impression on a woman, as you're doing all these fun things and these techniques, underneath it, you communicate, I am a mature, secure man. And what mature, secure men do is things like they are the protector of the situation. They're the guardian of the group or the flock. And when I say that, I don't mean that they're the person that buys everything for everyone or does everything, but they're just keeping an eye out to make sure everything's okay. So you might take your jacket off to give to a lady because she's cold, and she might say, doing her like a tough feminist, I'm tough thing, and go, no, it's okay, you can keep your jacket. And if you take it and you put it around her and you say, put it on. There's a subtle dynamic that's happening there. You're taking control of the situation. In most cases, she'll say, okay, and kind of resist. But the connection that really happened there was you were saying, hi, I'm mature, I'm going to do this. Okay, you're going to be warm because I'm fine, I'm okay, I'm a man, you're a woman, things are good. I'm a gentleman. When you're doing these things that communicate that you're a gentleman, it's okay. And it's okay to even be a little bit pushy about them. Women really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely, they do. And again, we're talking about quality women. You're going to get some immature women who are going to be like, no, you don't even want that. They're going to whine and complain and bitch and moan and too many problems.
Yeah, I love it when guys try to, they go, well, what should I do if she does this and gets upset about things? And I say, leave. What are you talking about? Why would you want to be in a relationship or be hanging out with that girl?
Exactly.
What, are you trying to make your life hard?